Hi, I'm Jenny. Welcome to my channel where we focus on using ordinary materials to make beautiful things. It's a Motivational Monday. Yay! Happy Thanksgiving week. So this should come out the Monday before Turkey Day. So I thought we would do something Thanksgiving oriented. So in our Monday journal, right, last week we did this. I have this kind of reddish orange bright envelope. And so my thought is that I would use this envelope, and on Thanksgiving, I'm gonna ask everybody in my family to write down something they're thankful for. And I'm gonna put those down in the envelope so that I can go back and look at those later when counting my blessings and the blessings of the people around me. Those might be reminders of things to be grateful and happy about. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm still battling this lung thing. I don't even know what it is. So I think I'm over the pneumonia, but I'm still kind of hoarse and coughing and things. So that's the plan, is to use that. And what I've done is I have downloaded a super simple coloring page. Now, if you Google free coloring pages for children, you will find really easy ones. I'm so sorry. And I picked an easy one because I want to kind of doodle all over it. So my idea is that I'm going to fill in all of this stuff with doodles and then color it and then write a quote down here and put it on this page so that I can commemorate Thanksgiving for this year and put those notes from my family inside when I'm finished. So I'm so sorry. I know that sounds terrible. I have a few quotes, and my little sticky note is wet because I have spilled 3 things today, and the last one spilled on this. So this morning I was balancing the checkbook and paying the bills, and my cat knocked over my coffee cup and sloshed it. Luckily, not all over that, but I got it before it hit the computer. Quick with the paper towels. It's like one of those commercials where it's like it's going to hit the lottery ticket. Only it was going to hit my computer. And then at lunch, I was putting some stuff in the crock pot for dinner time, and I knocked over a jug that had some milk in it. And again, luckily I caught it before too much. I spilled a little bit, but not very much. And then this one was my cup of water. And I just smacked it, and it went over, and it was all over the floor. It was quite the mess. So this one was definitely messy, but I think it's dried out enough for me to read it. So I have 4 different quotes. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. And the first one I have is, the more you practice the art of thankfulness, the more you have to be thankful for. The second one is, acknowledging the good you already have is the foundation of all abundance. The third one is, the real gift of gratitude is that the more grateful you are, the more present you become. And the last one is, wear gratitude like a cloak, and it will feed every corner of your life. So I'm not sure which of those I want to use. I'm going to, I think, do the doodling probably with the 0.5. These are needle drawing pens. They're like the Microns. It's a different brand, but it's like the Micron print pen. So it's archival ink. It's waterproof. So I do think I'm going to do that. I want to kind of do some stuff in the background as well. So I was thinking I was gonna, see, I have that ruler because I was thinking I was gonna do stuff out around it, but maybe I want to start with kind of a heavy outline. Oh, we can do a lighter one and then just do a heavy one later. Kind of just outline the whole thing to kind of separate it from the background. So if you choose a really super simple coloring page, like this one, there are no details. These are meant for very young children. So the shapes are large and easy to color. So that also means that we can put in our own decoration, our own patterns, our own doodles, if you will. If you have done any of the Zen doodling, you can certainly use those kinds of doodle patterns. You don't have to use anything complicated. You can just, put lines and diagonals and circles and squares and things like that. It does not mean you have to put in, super complicated patterns. Doodling is not about complication. Doodling is really almost about repetition of design. So you might decide how you want the grapes to look. Maybe each one of those is going to be a little flower. So you make sure each one is kind of the same as the others. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. But I'm just going to pull those little very simple petals out, right? So each of my grapes here is going to have a flower. And you don't have to color them any differently. You can, if you want to, you can actually color, the picture first. You could color it and then go back and add in, doodles to fill the spaces. So I like to do the doodles first, but sometimes I color first. Sometimes, if you have a good printer and you print something in color, then you can doodle over the top of that. My printer is pretty crummy, which is why I don't use digitals frequently, because my printer just does a very poor job of printing them. If I set it on photo quality and put photo paper, they're usable, but it takes so much ink, and the paper is not inexpensive. It takes so much ink that my ink cartridge runs out very quickly, and the ink cartridges are pretty expensive. So one of my hopes in the next year is to get a printer that is much better. I would like something like the one that has the eco refills, where you buy the little bottle of ink refill and put it in the printer cartridge instead of buying the whole cartridge. I feel like that's much more economical first and better for the environment, because you're not wasting all of that plastic that the cartridge is made out of. You only have the one, and then you just refill it, which makes perfect sense to me, that, you should be able to refill ink cartridges like that. I don't know why it's taken so long to get them, except that, well, because, once they let you buy an inexpensive printer, and then they make their money on the ink, of course, they being whatever company, you might buy it from. But mine does not do a great job of printing. It's fine for documents and things like that, but it is not meant for graphics. So, I would love to use digitals. I would love to have a printer that did a good enough job that I could use the digitals, but they don't look very good, and then they just suck up the ink. So I don't use those. So I do print like this, because this is just a black line drawing. So I can put it on grayscale, and I can definitely get just a plain black drawing from that. And then if it's a little faded, which it is in a few points here, like there, it's a little faded, then I can just use a black marker and go over that. So we have these grapes, and I might use a little bit, this one's 0.8 is a little bit heavier. And I'm thinking about just going around the outsides of the grapes just to delineate them a little more. And I'm not sure if I'm going to color these with markers or colored pencils. I'm leaning a little bit towards colored pencil, you know, just because I think it would be pretty to use kind of some pastel looking colors, and the pencils tend to be a little lighter. Certainly, you know, there are pastel colors in the markers, but I don't know. I'll have to look at the colors I have in my markers. I like alcohol markers, but I have multiple sets of markers. I have multiple water-based markers, and I have a couple of sets of alcohol markers. So I don't want to use paint pens because I don't want anything that opaque. And I'm just doing this on regular copy paper. This is not on any fancy paper. You could certainly print it on heavier paper if you wanted to, you know, or something that was a little stronger. If you had some, you know, like Strathmore drawing paper and you wanted to print it on that, you certainly could. If you don't have a printer, you can take a piece of copy paper and hold it up to your computer screen, and the light from the computer screen will shine through, and you'll see the outline. So you can take a really light pencil and just trace the outline. You can do that. So you can see there's a little bit through here because it's just copy paper. That's good. I like this. So I think maybe I'll just outline each of the pieces of fruit/vegetable here in the darker, just to give it a little bit heavier, just a little delineation to help it, so that, you know, when we doodle on it, it doesn't get lost. And I am terrible at outlining things. You can see I've just gotten off kilter here, but that just means I give it a little bit heavier line. I am not super neat at doodling or drawing things. I have doodled my way through my life. You would think by now that I could do it neatly. So I don't know. I guess that's a tomato. It looks like a tomato to me. So I'm just going to put some dots up here, and then maybe. No, I'm not really sure. I'm honestly not sure. It's like looking at the top is what makes me think it's a tomato, this little part. So, like I said, you don't have to draw anything intricate or detailed inside. I'm just going to do, since it's round, I'm just going to emphasize its roundness with a bunch of little circles. Different sizes, some larger, some smaller. Like I said, I am not super neat. You know, I try to take my time and do it so that it's not too messy, but to me, you know, the fun of doodling is that it's not meant to be perfect. It's not perfect. It's just a little doodle. Right? And it's just there to add some interest. So something like that. I like that. And then, you know, when I color that in, I could color in the whole thing and then do some of it darker if I wanted to, or some of it lighter, you know, or just color it as it is. Let's see. Let's work our way down here. A little bit heavier line. And I know this is probably going to take a while, so I'm either probably going to speed this up, or I may just cut away and come back after I have doodled in things. But I would encourage you, you know, something like this, because then you don't have to draw it. You don't have to worry about, you know, did I draw it right? You know, and you're still altering it. It still has your hand on it, which to me is, you know, to me that's the big thing. When I put something in, I want to alter it in some way. I want it to be individualized. I want to paint on it. I want to draw on it. I want to do something to it to make it mine. And you know, and that could mean just doodling on it. And I can tell you, I have loved to doodle. Like I said, my whole life, it's pretty much, you know, been the one thing that I have always returned to is doodling. So this is nothing new for me. So I'm just gonna put some little cross marks there, and maybe these will just go different ways. It's going to go all different directions. Yeah, I like that. Diagonally. You know, just to give it a little pattern. It just makes it more interesting. And, you know, if you put all this in, all this line work in, you can certainly go through and, you know, color all that line work if you like to color. If you're one of those people that is in love with coloring, then, you know, this is definitely a way to add some interest to a very plain coloring page, is to put in your own line work. Right? I like that. That looks pretty good. I like it. And out through here, I'm going to, I'll be coloring in probably a different background color here, and then I'll be doing something out around the edge. I'm not sure what. I have my ruler. I might, you know, kind of divide it into sections and do different things in each section. Might be the way to do that. What do you think? This definitely looks like a squash of some kind. And I am not doodling anything that is difficult. These are all just little repeating patterns. Just to, you know, make it interesting. There, that's nice. Do a couple of things here. There we go. That's looking good. Let's see. Outliner. example here. I had a student tell me one time, I was showing them how to draw something, and one of the kids told me, and I turned the paper, and one of the kids told me that if I had to turn the paper, it was cheating. Now, I don't understand why. I said, what do you mean it's cheating? And he's like, well, because you can't draw it from the right perspective the whole way. It's like, well, I know how it's supposed to look. Just because I turned the paper to draw it more easily, I'm not sure how that's cheating, but it was amusing. I had to laugh that there was a student who told me it was cheating. I'm going to add a little more to that stem just to give it a little more presence there. So I thought that was funny. I was amused by that. Let's see. Little flowers, circles, lines. Got some ones like fish scales, kind of. So maybe we can. You can certainly use a ruler if if you want to make sure your lines are equally spaced and super straight. I am never that concerned about it. The only time I use a ruler really is if I want to make sure something is straight. For example, if I decide to divide this and I want a straight line from here to the corner, I'll use a ruler for that. But otherwise, I am just not so invested that I have to use a ruler. Okay, let's see. What shall we do? What should we do? What should we do? What should we do with these leaves? Go ahead and give them a little outline. Do you still have coloring books from the whole coloring book craze? If you do, this is a good thing to do with them. You can color them and put them in your journal. If they're, if they are very complicated, you might consider using parts of them. Just cut apart a piece of it, or use it as a background if it's a pattern. Might use it as just a background. You could color it and throw a little gesso over it, kind of push it into the background, and then put something on top of it. If you have a coloring book that's a theme, I have several themed coloring books. And so you might color one thing as the background and then cut out a part of another one as a focal point. Or you could just use part of the focal point. If you have some easier coloring books, then certainly you can do this kind of thing. If you have kids or grandkids who have super easy coloring books that are laying around, this would be super cute. You could do this for Christmas. In a Christmas journal, you could do like a Santa Claus. I'm thinking I might do that. I keep thinking I'm going to do a Christmas journal, and I just don't know. I have a ton of Christmas stuff that I have collected, but I'm just not sure. Just not sure about it, because as far as I'm concerned, it's like it's still fall, right? It's not Christmas until after Thanksgiving, and I realize that that's this week. So maybe I'll be ready for Christmas then. I struggle. I can tell you, I struggle with Christmas because I just always seem to have this idea that it's going to be perfect and magical and I don't know what, and it just never is. So my expectations are always way too high, and that always gets me into trouble. And so I try every year not to have such high expectations, but it seems like I just fail every year. And I think part of it is because I remember Christmas being magical when I was a kid. But back then, back in the dark ages, back in the dark ages when I was a kid, it seems like the world transformed overnight between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I know, I am certain now that there were, many people who worked many hours, um, to transform stores and streets and everything else. Like suddenly, and maybe they put them up and I didn't notice because I was a kid. Maybe there was stuff there. I don't know. We didn't go shopping very much. I mean, it wasn't something we did. And so, maybe it was there beforehand and I didn't know it because I didn't see it until until after Thanksgiving. So, it could just be my mind saying that, that it was magically transformed. I don't know. But I always felt like Christmas was, was magical when I was a kid. It was, it was just, things just seemed magical. But I'm not really sure the world is nearly as magical as it used to be. So maybe that's just my cynicism showing. But, and I feel sorry. I think kids today are deprived of a lot of the magic of the world because they have, they see all this stuff on social media and things, so I worry that they're kind of just, they're exposed to so many things that I was never exposed to certainly until I was a grown up, and I just feel like, the innocence and the magic leaves them very soon. And it's just too bad. It makes me sad. And I think Christmas just reminds me of that. And makes me sad sometimes. And also it's the end of the year, and another year is gone and you don't really know where it went. So I'm sure many of you can relate to all those feelings. I know I'm not the only one who harbors these feelings about Christmas. And let's see, we should go over here maybe and do this leaf while I'm thinking about the other ones. We know too that statistically, more people are depressed at Christmas and stuff because the holiday doesn't meet their expectations, maybe. So I hope, every year I hope that it will be different. So maybe this year will. Maybe this will be the year that it's completely different for me. We don't really, the last few years, my husband and I really haven't done gifts. We get each other some little something, but usually we plan a trip or something like that. But we don't have a trip happening this year in December, so not really sure how that's going to go, because neither one of us really needs anything, and we don't really want anything, and the things we want are, I mean, if we really, really, really wanted it, we could probably just buy it. If we can't afford to buy it when it's not Christmas, then we can't really afford to buy it when it is Christmas. So, I guess that's true of a lot of people. Let's see, what should we do with this pumpkin? Maybe we should connect connect some of those. I think I'll get that heavier one back out and connect that. Can do some different sections here on the pumpkin. There we go. There we go. That way we can do different things in each area. Let's see. Again, I'm just interested in keeping this very simple. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I just want to provide texture. So I'm just doing some alternating lines in this one. And then I'll just kind of do the opposite next to it. There we go. So that kind of makes a little design there. Let's see, we can something like this. Put some dots in there. Let's see, what should we do here? And, you know, don't be afraid to repeat patterns. It's okay to repeat a pattern. So I'm doing that here, although I could do it a little bit differently. Instead of alternating, I'm going to kind of just go back down in the corners there. So in this one, I went every other, and then I touched the middle instead of the corners. So I can do that. There we go. Let's see. Do some crisscrossing. Can double up some of those lines. There we go. You could just do kind of a crazy fill, so. Just sort of any kind of texture pattern there. Right. I don't think I'm going to color the design separately. I do think I'm just going to color the whole thing and leave the patterns just as black line patterns. So, okay, so that's good. This is already a heavy line. I think we're okay with this. Don't know that we need to outline this again, but maybe just to make it a little darker. And two, if we go over it, and then it looks more hand-drawn. And we can extend those lines. If you go over it, it looks like you drew it. Right. And it's just going in your journal, so it's okay. You're not, you're not representing to the world that, oh, look, this is, I drew this. It's like, no, and you can say, if somebody asks you, it's like, oh yeah, well, I used a basic pattern and then I did all of the decorations on it. I did all the embellishments, right? And a lot of times in my journal, I write, what I did. I might write, free printable coloring page, free printable basic coloring page with my embellishments or something like that, That way I know what it is I did so that later when I'm looking at it and I want to know how I did it, if I want to recreate something like it, I know how to do that. Okay. Maybe, let's see, maybe on these we'll just kind of follow, the line of this just to emphasize these little lines. Just to emphasize the shape a little bit. I don't think I'm going to put anything inside that. I don't think so. You could definitely do a basket weave pattern on the outside of the cornucopia if you wanted to. That's, traditionally we see those as a cornucopia basket. Those are a little more complicated, but and we might do that at some point. I'm not sure we need that now. I think this one might just do something similar to that. I'm not really sure. Let's see. What should we do? What should we do to the basket out here? Could follow some lines down. Just have a basic line. Something like that. Right. Then if you wanted to do something, more to it, might heavy those lines up because we've got these kind of heavier lines, so might make those a little heavier. And just kind of leave them with the little bit of pattern there. You could definitely put something inside each one if you wanted to draw a little box or something inside it to emphasize the pattern of that the same way we did around there. Might be a good way to echo that pattern. It's a little bit lighter line. So we've got that. So if we want to just draw something that follows those lines, definitely do that. I like that, I think. Looks like it goes with this. And again, it's okay if it's not exact. So it's just about putting in details to make it more interesting. Okay. All right, so I don't know. I'm trying to decide, should I draw how to write it? Maybe I'll just kind of continue to, you know, trace that outline until we get out to the edge. Yeah, that might be nice, and then just make a border, you know, just make a series of borders, colors going out. It might be a nice frame. You know, and anywhere you run out like there, just pick it back up. And we'll just make a frame for it. And the good thing about doodling is you can stop whenever you feel like it. I'm always of the opinion that more is more. You know, I'm not a less is more girl. I am a more is more girl. So I am not not inclined to stop until I have filled the whole page, because, you know, that's what I like. I like all of the lines, and that makes me happy. So you should do what makes you happy, because it's your journal and it's your picture. Yeah. So do what you like. Heaven knows I do. I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to write that quote in. And then I'm going to color it. So I don't know if I have sped this up yet or not, because I'm filming it now, and then I decide later when I'm editing it whether or not to speed it up. So if I have not sped it up at this point, I am probably going to just cut away to color, because you don't need to watch me color for sure. Right? Let's see, right here, I might as well just do that. We can do this edge up here. There we go. All right. And I think we'll just do a heavy line down across the bottom there, maybe even with the brush. I might use the brush to do the lettering as well to make it prettier. Kind of pushing down and getting, it's okay if it's not exactly straight. Again, we're just doodling. Right, pushing down on that brush. Getting a fat line. Probably should have just gotten a fatter pen to start with, huh? Okay. So I am going to, I don't know, we need to pick a quote. Should we go and do the quote before we color maybe? That might be a good idea. Let's see. The more you practice the art of thankfulness, the more you have to be thankful for. Acknowledging the good you already have is the foundation of all abundance. The real gift of gratitude is that the more grateful you are, the more present you become. Wear gratitude like a cloak and it will feed every corner of your life. I think I'm going to do that last one since it has to do with feeding you, and this is a cornucopia with abundance and food kind of based. Let's see. All right, wear gratitude like a cloak and it will feed every corner of your life. So, all right, I'm just gonna start. It's probably too big. That usually is my problem. I start out way too big, like a cloak. I guess if I mess it up, I can cut it off and write it somewhere else. Cloak. And it will feed every corner of your life. Every corner. I don't know if I can get it on there or not. We'll try. Right, now that I've already made them really big. Every corner of, I don't know, do you think we can get your in there while you are your life? Haha, sutlo. All right. And then this one. will go around the words just to kind of make an outline of this as well. So apparently I can talk while I doodle, but I can't talk while I outline. Oh, I guess that's an improvement. Usually I can't talk while my pen is moving at all for some reason. So I'm going to, the next step then is to color this. And then once it's colored, all I have to do is put it in my book, because it will be done all in one sheet. And it'll just be a matter of gluing it in. So as I finish outlining this, I will be back after I have colored it. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to use pencils or markers. I haven't really decided yet. I want something pale like the pencils, and I really like the way markers look. So we'll see. All right, so there's our design. So I will be back once I have finished coloring it, and I'll show you what it looks like, and we'll put it in the book. So see you in a few. Okay guys, I'm back. I have finished coloring it. I just want to show you, I've glued it in. I'm looking at the top edge, kind of leading here, so I'm thinking I might put a little bit of washi tape along the edges just to kind of clean those up a little bit. But other than that, I feel like we're done. I'm really liking all the line work here and my quote, and I like that I've got now a pocket that I can put some things that my family is going to write down, you know, on Thanksgiving Day, that the things we're grateful for that we can remember. So if you like this video, I appreciate your time. Please give me a like, give me a thumbs up. It's important to me, and it's important to the algorithm on YouTube. So it really helps me a lot if you do that. Until next time, remember, use what you have to make your life more beautiful. Bye.